Unless you murder people, community is something I believe that we can all agree is important. This is the Diary of an Oreo, a self journal that I'm going to be publishing for myself and those who I believe feel as though that they cannot connect with others as openly and freely that they want to. This is for me to your ears, but I really want to emphasize the fact that if you feel like you can truly relate with what is going on in my day-to-day life, that you can reach out anonymously or not to me as much as I am to your ears. My ears are for you. Now, this last 2 weeks of my life have been extremely revelationary. I don't even know if that's a word, but I'm definitely identifying parts of myself that are making me realize in the long run, I don't believe that I could be with anyone in the romantic sense, because with friends, it's the word I'm looking for isn't easier, but it's definitely harder to understand what is so unbecoming of to be in a relationship with me. And I believe that's because I just don't do enough self-reflection. And that's interestingly enough is where this podcast is stemming from. Now, the last 2 weeks have been rough, but this last weekend, granted, tragedy did strike this weekend, but starting with Friday, I went to TwitchCon. Not necessarily, but I did go to a meetup that was hosted by a Twitch streamer by the name of J Knight, who I was invited to by Hello Hero TV. Shout out to them. I really appreciate the invite. It was a great time. I got to sing some of my favorites. And I always forget that Childish Gambino is an option. And this time I finally went up for it after Hero put it up. And honestly, the karaoke at this place was super fast. I'm not going to lie. There's no way it was on beat, on par with how we all remember it, but it might also just be the Mandela effect hitting us all. And Saturday, I went with my boy Chris and his wife to the Viking Festival in Vista over by the Antique and Train Museum. It was awesome. I've been to conventions before, anime conventions, but honestly, this was the first place that I went to that was given like a Renaissance fair vibe, but more with Vikings. So I got to try mead for the first time. So good, but so dangerous. It really does taste like juice. And after my first cup, I was feeling it. And it was only 12 p.m. in the afternoon. So definitely took a fat nap after that Viking festival. But before all that, I got to go sword fighting. I threw a lance at a haystack. Didn't do that well. Did some axe throwing. Did actually really well. Except one of the axes did go in the bushes, which was very interesting for me. I got to have low-key, I've never had IKEA's Swedish meatballs, but they had meatballs there, which were Swedish, which were bussin', and they had like a lingonberry additive to them. Oh my goodness. I don't think I've ever had lingonberry before. It was so sweet and so tart. It just made everything taste good. I don't know what to tell you. So after I parted ways with Chris, I had this inkling of an idea to go hit up Anime Night Mart, but this is after the nap. And I don't know what made me decide to go to Anime Night Mart, but let's pedal back to community and how important it truly is to surround yourself with a community of people that, a word I want to say is understand, but it's more of you can just be yourself around these people. It's not to say that I can't be myself around the people that I have been with. It's just the anime community is something else. We can all agree on that. It's sadly has a dark side, but the bright side of things are extremely bright. That honestly, the shadows that are casted can be harsh, but it's not something that you want to put your focus on. But it's definitely something that we can all address in a peaceful way that doesn't just like irate and belittle and demonize people's actions. So with that being said, I hit up Anime Night Mart. I met up with a cosplayer by Little Bean Kurt. She told me that the cosplay contest was hitting up. And I also found out that one of the brands that I've worked with before, the Kiyustop, shout out to Lupita and her crew, that they were going to be there. And I had some shirts from a previous shoot that she let me borrow. So I said, this is a perfect opportunity for me to return the shirts. And so I did. And also Lupita gifted me this amazing tapestry hoodie of Digimon. It was like Tai and Agumon with Metal Greymon and War Greymon on the sleeves. I was super grateful for it because I was just looking at it and telling her like, oh, that's a dope hoodie. And she's like, take it. And you don't look a gift horse in the mouth. So it was a great experience. There was a giant Eevee, never seen a giant Eevee costume, and it looked comfortable. Like, because he touched me, and everyone was saying they got like groped by this Eevee, but it was jokes because like the dude ain't feeling nothing. He was just trying to walk through the crowd, and it wasn't super packed because the Westminster Mall is being restored with all the anime conventions that happen in there. And I think everyone who did go to that mall as a kid, everything that I've heard is that everyone's really grateful for breathing life back into this mall that was seen as such a place of comfort and joy for other people. So with that, Anime Night Mart was filled with this community of people that honestly, I didn't even know who was going to be there. I didn't do any prenups, no checks or nothing, but Schwa, Yabai Society, and Kiana, all these people that I knew were there, and I got to speak with them because only a couple of them knew about what was going on in my life. And I shared it very briefly because it's just like a lot of stuff that went on. I knew I definitely wanted to talk to someone about it. I didn't know how. And I know that I never say anything that's like derogatory towards whoever is involved because that's not helpful at all. And there's not many derogatory things to say, honestly. So it's just a lot of hardship. But the fact that the people there are so kind, so nice, and just warm really helped defrost the situation that was going on inside of myself. And I accidentally bumped into the brand manager for Anime Night Mart because he had like this Soul Eater bag. And I love Soul Eater because Soul Eater is the prequel to Fire Force, made by the same creator. And I loved it so much. So when I saw this bag, I had to speak with this man, not knowing that he was the creator. And his name is Chris. He's a super cool ass dude. We talked, we chatted. He's got my number, and I can't wait to hear from him. And there's like no parasitic gain from that. It was very natural. And I told him straight up, like, I do want to be a part of this community in a more positive light. I don't want to be like this parasitic videographer, content creator that just comes in, makes some bullshit, and then just sends you an invoice, then bounces. Like, no, I've always wanted to make a positive impact on the people's lives that I have chosen to interact with, that I mistakenly interact with, or if I see someone that looks cute, I just say, hey, you look beautiful. And then I walk the fuck away because there's not always a gain. There's sometimes going to be a loss. And I feel like just giving someone my time for like a couple seconds is enough loss that we can both agree was like cool, you know? So with that being said, after Anime Night Mart, I hit up my friend Trisha's random ass like kickback that she did not plan for. I love you, Trish, but girl, that shit evolved into something. And it evolved into something at the time that I had to leave because my plan was to take my daughter shopping in the morning. But someone brought bigger buzz balls, 3 of them, and we're pouring them down people's throats. So by the time I got back home is when I started to feel everything. And I made a lapse of judgment, and it costed something very dear to me. And self-respect and the respect of someone who I cared about. Not to take away from how it impacted the other person. It did a number on me, and I know it did a number on them. Nothing happened, but something happened. And that's all I can say. Besides, I'm sorry, and I accept whatever repercussions come with that action. Which brings me to relationships. One person who I told that I probably will not be getting into another relationship again until I'm making at least $500K a year through my business, through other side incomes. And that's just not, trying to scam people and make that money as fast as possible and then try to introduce someone into my life. No. It's just like, I have to offer myself the time to truly understand what it means to be a partner and stop making decisions or having done actions that are seen as volatile to the idea of me being with someone. Because as much as I want to be a king to a queen, my actions would say that I'm a jester and I play with boundaries. And I don't mean to. I really don't. I don't mean to heckle someone for their beliefs, no matter my position in their life. And yet I still do. Because no matter what I believe my actions are, they will have an outcome that will differ from what's inside of my mind to someone else's. And that is sadly life. It's the life that I've been living. And it's not a life that I want another person to live through me. And it's not always about what I want sometimes, but it's not always about what I want. And the realization of that is definitely integral to the next parts of my life. With that being said, I went shopping on Sunday with Maya. It was a great time. She got some new clothes, some new shoes. I even gave her a manga that I already read, and she loved looking at all the pictures. I'm not even sure if she understood what was going on, but I'm just going to believe that she at least knows that there's a story being told. And I'm going to be reading with her so she can understand something that her dad loves so much. And I know that she loves anime because she watches anime on her own. But manga is that written form, that more educational piece that I believe, because reading is everything. To me, I read books all the time, and I want to instill that into my daughter, who I know loves to read, but might not know how to the best of her abilities. And that's what is my biggest goal, is for her to love reading, to love learning, to love trying new things. Because being stagnant in the information that goes inside of your brain is not a way to live to me. It's very closed-minded. It's very gatekeeping personally to yourself, which is insane. So if there's a book that's in your library, please crack it open. If you haven't cracked open a book in a while, just take 10 minutes to start reading, and you'll find that you'll keep reading. And hopefully it's within the bounds of your schedule. I don't want you to neglect your kids, neglect responsibilities for reading, but definitely make it a responsibility to read every day. With that, the final note is community is everything. Find that community, and also within yourself, create the community of, we all have different selves, not just Geminis. We all have different selves, but create that community in yourself that is able to do the hard work and self-reflect. Because if it's easy to self-reflect, then you're doing it wrong. You should feel jaded, but just enough to where there can actually be change within yourself, because you can't change someone else. You can't. Don't try. If they ask, say it politely, without vindication, without it becoming as an attack. Make the statement towards change as neutral as possible. Don't make it dramatic, because then that's when drama happens. Thank you. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you listening. And like I said, I want to hear from you, whatever audience this brings, on anything you have going on. I'm not going to say I'm going to make it a topic for next week, because I want to be the not gonna lie link that you just vent your soul to. And I may have the time to actually message you and ask about an update, how are you doing? Because I want to provide that for the people that listen to me, an equal reciprocation. So this has been a Diary of an Oreo, episode 1. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.